And there's only about a week to go. No, only about a year to go, right? It's not a week. Spoilers.
Shock.
On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, rumoured Lucia voice actor speaks on podcast.
Now I do voiceover. So I've done some for a video game. I did an audio series.
GTA Online update gives clear GTA 6 gameplay implications.
In the famous open world game, Shenmue on the Dreamcast.
Okay. And what is Rockstar's creator team? Nurture, engage, and grow our creator community. It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 109 of GTA 6 o'clock, the world's most in-depth and best connected GTA 6 show. I am your host, James JJ Jarvis. Over there is Dan Dawkins, and we have incredibly, Dan, passed the 2-year milestone of this show. In fact, episode 104 would have been exactly 2 years of weekly episodes, and there's only about a week to go. No, only about a year to go, right?
It's not a week.
Spoilers.
Shock.
Just ahead of the investor call, they've announced that GTA 6 is coming out next week.
It's going to be stealth dropped.
Clip that. No, don't clip that out. Yes, so about a year's worth of GTA 6 o'clock to go, right? Excited? Less than a year, in fact.
More excited than ever.
Yes, this week, as I just mentioned, of course, is the Take-Two investor call. Spoiler warning for everybody out there. We are recording this before that investor call this week. It's about 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning here in the UK. The call is set for 4:30. So if you're listening to these words, nothing happened in that call. But there is bound to be some post-call interviews that now seem to be par for the course when it comes to these investor calls. So we'll have all the details on all of those things next week. Why aren't we waiting for that call, Dan? Is it because we are so confident nothing's going to happen?
Yes, and also the boring practicalities of how we record things. But my honest take, do you know what? This actually, I just said a different thing to you last week than I would say this week. Because, and this is not on our script, this is a bombshell alert, right?
Prepare.
Not because I don't think GTA is any more or less likely to slip, right? So I think it's a business as usual call for me. You know, we've talked about this before. If there's going to be another delay, it's far more likely to be talked about in the next quarterly call, which is nearer May time. That hasn't changed. What I do think has changed is unexpectedly, Strauss-Zelnick, Take-Two CEO, is almost having to give a performance on behalf, I think, a performance on behalf of the entire video game industry versus the emerging investment thesis that AI is going to eat and destroy everything. I know that sounds very dramatic, but I think, and we'll touch on this later in the show, but given that the share prices of all major video game developers and software makers dropped between 10 and 20% last Friday when Google released their Genie 3 model, Strauss-Zelnick is going to be asked about that. And he's going to be probably the most prominent person who's going to give an answer on behalf of the industry of it. So I suddenly think this investor call has become box office.
Yeah.
So not only is he there to rep the most anticipated entertainment release of all time, he's repping on behalf of the entire video game industry in the face of AI. Boom!
Boom.
Earn your coin, Strauss.
Yeah, and it's something that did come up on the last call. Like they were even then, some of the questions were very probing into just how are you using AI within Rockstar and other development houses that you own? And his answer has always been, like, we're not using it to create games. We might be using it to help with some of the more boring logistical stats, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, not as a replacement for human creativity.
No. But I think it, like you say, this time around, it might be even harder pushed to be like, we've all seen what's been happening over the last week with the advancements in AI. What is your response to that? Like, it'll be one of those kind of open questions, and they'll have to come up with some kind of answer.
Yeah, there'll be a very polite analyst question. I mean, the case against traditional video game publishers is broadly, AI is going to allow you to create your own video game by saying some things into an AI tool. And that's not true, right? And it's not going to be true for a very long time, if not ever. But people believe it. And he has to answer that charge of, are people going to stop buying GTA when I can just say, I want GTA set in the UK's version of Barnsley in the 1970s, and I drive, I don't even drive, I bounce around on a moon ball or whatever it is. Like, and the game makes it for me. And I'm like, lol, who needs GTA 7? Like, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But he has to almost answer that case being put to him. His box office. So by the time you hear this, the answer will have already been resolved. I dare say he's going to play the straightest, most boring hand imaginable.
Yeah.
But he still has to do that.
Sure.
And I think that's fascinating.
And of course, there is the small chance that we get to 1 or 2 p.m. today here in the UK, and something does happen, like we have seen previously, that they do release a bunch of screenshots or a statement saying it's still coming November 19th. We will see. Like, there is a 1 to 5% chance, I feel, that could still happen today. And if it does, maybe you're not listening to any of this because we have to record a special analysis episode tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah.
That's a shame. What a shame that would be. This will become one of the lost episodes that were released for Christmas that people can enjoy.
Yep.
But the hot topics this week, let's move on to some of those. First up is something that was mentioned in our newsletter, which you can sign up for by going to gamesradar.com/newsletter. Click on the GTA 6 one. This went out at the end of last week, and this is the news, Dan, that rumoured GTA 6 voice actor Manny L. Perez has appeared on the Hollywood Actor podcast, confirming that she's done voiceover for a video game. Now, as you wrote in the newsletter last week, did this interview actually happen? You can answer this.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
read what I wrote. Did the interview actually happen? Yes. Does this mean she's in GTA 6? You know how this works. So, yeah, the interview happened. It's not conclusive proof she's in GTA 6. Now, there's a twist in this tale, which James has delivered to me earlier, and I'm excited about it. Yeah. But I guess the first thing when I was doing the newsletter, I write the main stories. I do a few roundup stories. This is one that I felt was interesting, but sort of like low impact potentially, because you don't know the thing of it. So my first question was, is it even real? Because in the world of AI, you feel like anything can be cooked up. Someone could have put her voice through a AI generator. So yes, the podcast is real. There's a show hosted by a guy called Jamie H. Jung, and it's the Hollywood Actor podcast, which I'd never heard of, and I had to work quite hard to find, to be honest with you. So then I was like, okay, it's real. She barely talks about video games at all, and just in passing, there's like a 3-part show with her, and I think it's the second part. She talks about doing voiceover for a video game, diversifying her portfolio. Doesn't say which video game, etc., etc. But what does she actually say, James?
Well, yes, it's a question around, like Jamie says, you're starting to establish yourself in the Hollywood film industry. And more so than ever, things are being filmed in New York. I think that's where she was based at the time. And she says,
but it is strange, but it's amazing. And then recently I just transferred into not transferred, but now I do voiceover. So I've done some for a video game. I did an audio series, and it's just how everything has been connected. And I have no clue how these people found out who I was. I never did any voice acting, but I guess a casting director knew somebody who heard about me from this person.
So up until this point, all pretty valid, as you say. Real podcast. She was on that podcast. If you go onto the YouTube channel of that show, that podcast show, this episode was uploaded a couple of months ago.
Yes.
However,
yes,
if you dig a little bit deeper into this interview is actually from 2019, which is possibly the bombshell that we didn't want to hear, because if it had been a recent interview, you could have then extrapolated and gone, well, which video game? We haven't seen her in any video games yet. Could it be the video game we think she's going to be in? Therefore, I mean, at this point, I don't even know how much more confirmation we need, because it feels pretty nailed on that it is going to be her. But at this point, we still have to say it is a rumor. Now, it's quite easy to date this podcast in particular, because Manny mentions her talent agency, which is longtime New York-based manager Genevieve Brewer. Now, Genevieve unfortunately died in 2021, so that puts this that date, because she's talking about her like she's my agent. If I'm working with her, people are then saying, oh, well, if you're working with her, then you must be quite good. If she's backing you, you can be in these other things.
Okay. She's not working with her through a spirit medium.
No, I don't think so. Genevieve was an agent at About Face Talent for 10 years and a manager at Terrific Talent before she set out on her own. She had clients that booked guest star roles in numerous episodic things like Chicago PD, Law and Order, Billions, Gotham, and Blue Bloods. The interesting bit about that is that a fair number of people from Rockstar's history of voice acting have previously been in shows like Chicago PD, Law and Order, like those episodic things that have 1 million episodes and don't normally feature anyone who's like particularly super famous, but are, it's sort of full of up and coming actors. I guess if you were in the UK and taking a UK analogy, it's something like one of our soaps, where you'd go, a lot of people have been in EastEnders, Hollyoaks, Coronation Street, and you might use that as a stepping stone to be like, I've been a guest star for 3 episodes in this show, now I'm going off to do my next drama series, and then hopefully up and up and up, eventually end up in GTA 6. So, bringing this all back around again, Manny has obviously now changed agents because that talent agency doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But she was talking about things that she has done then in 2019. When she mentioned she's done stuff for a video game, Manny was also in a previous Rockstar title, well, I guess an ongoing Rockstar title, GTA Online.
Yes.
The casino update, she played unnamed blackjack dealer number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
Which was a great role. And we were just talking about off air. Did that then lead them to go, great blackjack skills, you should be the lead in GTA 6? I think more likely as what happened is I feel like Genevieve Brewer is quite a respected talent agent. And as I say, Manny L. Perez was in Law and Order Special Victims Unit through her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who else was in that same show?
Well, I do.
You do, because it's written down here.
It's Nedley Luke.
It's
Ned Luke.
Everyone's favorite GTA 5
former
star.
future game show host, and perhaps more famously, star of GTA 5.
Yes. Now, I don't think Ned Luke was repped by Genevieve. I don't think they're coming from the same talent agency, which sometimes does happen and would make this a much more compelling case to go, well, Rockstar have clearly worked with this talent agency before. They've gone to them and say, who have you got on your books that might be right for this role we've got coming up? They could have said, have you seen Manny? She's been in Law and Order, some other things. You might want to get her in for a casting. I think there is some way around that did happen when they were like, Rockstar clearly watch a lot of those shows, or like try and pick talent from that type of show. And I think Manny L. Perez being in that show does open up those opportunities for someone to have seen her and gone, that she's playing a really good role there. And you can find her episodes on the internet. And if you put it side by side with Lucia, you'd be like, yeah, this fits. This could work. So an interesting bit of information. Obviously, it's old, so not as relevant as perhaps we hoped it might have been. But the fact that she says she's been in a video game could be referencing that casino expansion pack that did come out in 2019 when this podcast was recorded. So it might have been that she could have then talked about it because that DLC had released and she's like, yeah, I've been in a video game. Or that video game hasn't come out yet, and 2019 is about the right time when you would start at least preliminary VO work on GTA 6, or trying to book in your lead characters once the story has been written and developed a bit. So it could still all line up. Or if you want to do the other side of the coin, it's her just talking about her role in GTA Online.
Yeah, I'm inclined to the latter, but without looking at the timelines for, say, when did Ned Luke start his recording? When was he confirmed for GTA 5? It feels to me like a long time before, 6 years.
Yeah. Well,
especially given what we know of the history of GTA 6 being a project that was restarted a few times, and they said development began in earnest in 2019. So maybe, but it feels like if they were still prototyping or they'd settled on version whatever it was of the prototypes, maybe. But I'm more inclined to agree what you said, where if it was GTA Online work, but then her path crosses with Ned Luke, and there's lots of serendipity there, isn't there, where she may go, we don't know when or if she even knows Ned Luke, right? They may have never talked, but there could have been a world where she says to him, I've just done some game work, by the way. GTA. Oh my God, I was in GTA. Or, whatever the conversation was, right? Whether or not, maybe. But that's how life works. It's lots of little things, network effects, knitting together until it feels like a fait accompli. Maybe that, maybe not. But I do feel increasingly like, were I a betting man, this is where my money would be going for the Lucia actor.
Yes. And if I was a betting man, I would put a reasonable amount of money on that happening. I'm not going to say what a reasonable amount of money is, because I don't want to end up losing that at some point to someone who says, well, you said you were going to bet whatever, so where is it? It's the kind of thing we do upstairs in the office. People are like, oh, you should actually, let's do a friendly bet then, and then it never works out. But let's see.
Hey guys, producer Nathan here. Just wanted to pop in because it seems the guys were just a little bit too hasty in recording this week's episode, because it turns out the investor call did contain some pretty juicy details, so I'll quickly go over them now. The biggest news is that Take-Two's confirmed that Grand Theft Auto 6's marketing campaign officially begins this summer. We predict about May, so keep an eye out for that. The rumour that the game will be released digitally first and then physically later has been shut down. Strauss Zelnick said that is not the plan, so it's indicating physical copies will launch day one alongside digital versions. And finally, Strauss confirmed again that the launch date is November 19th, so that it might actually happen, folks. It might actually happen. JJ and Dan will cover all this and more in detail on next week's show, but just wanted to jump in and give you that small update. Okay, back to the episode. See ya!
Okay then, the next topic for this week, and it is a good one. Not that none of them are very good, they're all good ones. But this one, good one plus one. Let's discuss if GTA Online's new jobs hint at the future, Dan. Last week, Thursday, the Odd Jobs pack came to GTA Online. Now, this was a thing that added new jobs into GTA Online that aren't your traditional go and boost a car type thing. Rockstar's official wording is make an honest living in 3 new GTA Online odd jobs. Join the ranks of the Los Santos Fire Department as a firefighter, load up delivery vans for the Alpha Male as a forklift operator, or deliver the old-fashioned printed version of the Los Santos Meteor with a paper route or route. In 3 new odd jobs now available in GTA Online. All odd jobs, including these 3 newest vocations, are paying out double rewards through February 4th. Those still committed to a life of crime can supplement their income this week with double cocaine production speed on top of 2-time GTA dollars and RP in the Community Race Series and more. So not only are you getting double cocaine production speed, but now you can be a paper person. I was going to say paper boy, but it's paper boy or girl, paper person. You can be a paper person, not someone who makes paper or sells paper, but someone who delivers the paper.
Yeah, that's the new definition.
Or you can be a firefighter, or you can be a forklift operator. My question then is, as I said at the top, for me, this feels like it's the clearest indication yet that GTA 6 and GTA Online are going to lean into what are not just criminal activities, but ways to make an honest living somehow in that game. Whether it's all in the single player aspect, if in there at all, I don't know. But it feels like at least the next iteration of online is going to include some of these things.
Yeah, I guess like you say, it's a question of like three things. One is, will it be in core single player GTA 6? Will it be in core GTA Online GTA 6? Or will it be only in GTA Online, the new world of RP? You know, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Like I think plausibly, possibly even all three. And you could argue as well that actually this is Rockstar finally catching up with a 25-year-old game mechanic, because you could drive forklifts for money. Can you remember when? In the famous open world game Shenmue on the Dreamcast.
Okay.
So thank you, Yu Suzuki. That's going back a long time ago, but that was one of the fun things of that game. You could have a warehouse job.
Yeah.
In between kicking people's heads in and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, go back to the 80s. There's literally a game called Paperboy.
Yeah.
Where the whole game is
not
just...
paper person, paper boy.
No,
then.
where you were playing as a paper boy.
Yes.
And you couldn't select who you played as, so you were very much...
Yeah, and you were very much... You was lobbing newspapers at...
Yeah.
It was a good, fun game. I don't... is that what GTA will do? I very much doubt it. This is a fun thing. This is more of a joke. Is it Rockstar preparing us for the only jobs that will be left after the AI apocalypse?
Right. Like the manual labor jobs.
Yeah,
like,
this is it. Get used to it, folks.
Well, you can get things delivered by robots, and I'm assuming those things can also be newspapers. Like you can just say, you ring up and say, deliver me a takeaway. Also, can you pick up a copy of...
I'm sure drones could deliver newspapers. I mean, that feels like the most juxtapositional thing there could ever be. Drones delivering newspapers. Ridiculous. I digress.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, do you really think that this could be in the single player game at all? Like, I don't see how something like this, I could see it being a part of a mission, but a whole mission that says, now just pop off and deliver some newspapers doesn't feel that exciting. It works in GTA Online because you're generating money and it's something to do. But as a single player mission, it feels like, unless it's one of like the jobs that Lucia has to do as part of what we imagine being her, tagging requirements of like, now you have to go and do some things that support the community, and you can choose to do paper route, forklift driver, or firefighter, or one of many other vocational activities, I imagine.
Yeah, I know this is probably a fun way to play with this in a mission, to almost give you the choice. Say you're on parole and you're being monitored and you've got a tag, and your choice is you need to get a certain amount of money for something in the game. And then you're given the choice of do the equivalent of, say, 5 hours of, not 5 hours, but you know what I mean, an amount of time that feels too long, lifting pallets up and down, or just go and do the heist now, or do something high risk. But if you get seen, you are risking something much higher. So the game's giving you a degree of choice. And it's something that I think a lot of the Hideo Kojima games do, where they make you pay. Like there's missions later in that game, for example, where you're given the choice of, you can literally walk there, and it's better in some ways, but it's going to cost you like 2 hours of your human life, versus paying for one of the whizzy fast ways to get there. So it's creating a genuine sense of cost and investment in the game. They could do it that way. Yeah, I don't know. Will they? I don't know. It depends how deeply it's embedded in the game. But
I mean, thinking about that, I don't actually mind that, especially if you're like, you can play both sides of that relationship, where Jason is maybe doing some drug running or whatever he ends up doing at the low level, and then Lucia is the one, and you could probably use that to explore the map a little bit. Like, Lucia has to manually drive across the map to deliver newspapers, or to do some kind of courier job or pizza delivery or something, and you get to then explore corners of the map you wouldn't normally go to, and then you flip back to Jason to do like the fun bits. Obviously both of those things are fun, but Jason gets a gun or whatever.
Yeah, managed in the right way, that's quite a cute device. So not as fun like literally moving pallets around a warehouse because the level of discovery is quite low. But as a paper person, great. Get to see a few streets, learn a few new mechanics, do a few wheelies. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, and it'd be a good introduction to some of the new things, like you say, like riding a bike. Obviously, that's not new, but it will be like it's, as we say, there's going to be so many new players playing GTA 6 that you almost have to reintroduce them to everything that we're familiar with in that game. And saying, all right, you might start out on a bike. Do you want to then spend your money on a motorbike because you can then do this quicker?
Yeah.
It teaches you how to ride a bike, ride a motorbike, drive the car, climb up over a fence, run away from a dog. Like it adds all those things in, which could be a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah, I guess the bigger tie-in is like, to what extent does GTA 6 buy into reality? The end point of that is our perennial debate about refueling. It's like
she could work at the gas station.
Yeah, she could work at the gas station.
Oh,
you see?
Wow.
You see? No, look, we're Rockstar. What Rockstar really should do is create an avatar of me who pulls up and she puts gas in the car for me, which would be like a time paradox, because I've said I don't want refueling.
Yeah.
But what if Lucia was doing it for me at the garage? I don't even know where I stand then. So
you could put up as Jason.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but me, because I'm the one who's got a strong stance.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a very niche audience joke. I don't think they'll do it, to be quite honest with you.
No. Well, I mean, but then you imagine the fun that you could have as Lucia filling up people's cars and trying to get it exactly on the like $50, and you get a little bonus for just doing that. You go 1 penny
That's
over.
the game we all play in real life. It's catch you on the zero.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
That's the greatest mini game ever made.
Put that into refueling in GTA 6, and I feel like you're coming around to this idea a little bit more.
And that could be genuinely. I've gone mad now. They said a video game. You could make a video game.
I've done it.
An open world video game where the characters constantly aura farming, right? Where you're doing things that are just cool. And the more cool and lucky you feel, like the better you are at doing other things like running, jumping, punching, being lucky, right? Like who's the character who's in Wolverine, whose skill is basically being lucky from the X-Men?
Domino.
I forget. Look it up, folks. You know who I mean.
Domino.
But like that's the thing. And like, what if you just did cool things in the game, like filled it up, bang on the 50. Ooh, like something's going to drop, just do a late catch on it. Right? And it's all about aura farming.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
You look, when that game becomes successful, I'm here for the royalties.
Okay, good. Well, we'll see. We'll see if that ever
but don't hold
comes
your
into
breath.
reality. I guess what we really need to address then is like how this might work in the game. Obviously, in real life, for doing these kind of jobs, not so much firefighter. Well, yeah, probably like firefighter, forklift truck driver, paper route operator. You don't get paid as much for doing those jobs as you would for, say, robbing a small convenience store.
Sure.
So the way that this works currently in GT Online is if you did the paper route, it takes about 7 minutes of in-game time or your real life time, not in-game time. So like 7 minutes of your time to do one of these routes earns you about 49,000 GTA dollars, which has got that current ×2 perk that we said at the beginning. So if you take that out, I guess in general, it's around 40 to 50k you can get for doing one of these things. Now in real life, I don't think anyone's getting paid 50k for doing a paper route.
Not for 7 minutes work.
No.
I mean, I
So
think we'd all
there
be
is
doing it.
obviously an unbelievable inflation thing happening here. But I think it has to be like that, because otherwise you're earning like $20 for delivering all the newspapers, and that's not going to work because everything costs a lot more than that in the GTA world.
It's just not, even for GTA, it's just not credible. Like it would never be able to sensibly pay you an amount, unless it was like some kind of, you're doing the paper round, but what you're really doing is lobbing drugs into people's post boxes, and that's how you get your money or something, maybe. But like, yeah, they can't with a straight face say you got $50,000 for 7 minutes of paperwork.
No, but I think that's one of the reality breaks that I'm okay with. like getting paid roughly the same amount or like a bit less for doing a job that is a legal activity versus an illegal one. Like, is there a world not in the story, because I think we know where the story's going in GTA 6, but where you could stop doing criminal activities and just decide to do these kind of jobs, but still earn basically the same amount of money. It might take you a little bit longer because you're doing it legally, but that might be it's back into the role-playing situation of going, I'm actually now just going to play GTA 6 by living a normal life. I'm leaving the life of crime behind. I'm just going to go and do this, and I'm still going to make enough money to buy the mansion eventually.
Yeah, like single player, no. GTA 6 Online, maybe. RP, sure. It makes sense for that to be like, can you be a law-abiding citizen? And then it doesn't matter. It's even further detached from reality for me. So you could maybe do stuff like that. But yeah, oh, man, what world am I in where I have to refuel my car and then do a paper round for $50,000 for 7 minutes? It's the upside down, people.
You're in the world of GTA 6. That's what the world you're in. And I guess the final bit that we touched on was, how does this play into the role-playing stuff that we know Rockstar are investigating? Are we going to see a more living world in GTA Online because of these activities? For example, I'm just thinking off the top of my head and throwing this at you, if I decide to become a fireman and go and, at the moment in GTA Online, you go rescue cats off roofs.
Yeah.
Fine, it's a scripted event. But what if I decided to play my role as a fireman in GTA Online, and the fires that I am called out to go and put out are other players' vehicles that have been blown up because of, they've crashed it into a wall or someone's thrown a grenade at it. And therefore you become the fire service within GTA Online. This happens in RP servers already, where someone, I'm going to be the ambulance driver, and we're going to go and pick people up, take them back to the hospital, do all that stuff. I could see this that becoming a much more accessible thing in GTA Online, where you could say, okay, we need, you sign on and you're the fire truck driver or you're the police man, and you go around and other people in that server are trying to rob stores and earn money that way, and you're the police trying to stop them doing it. It becomes a full-on living space.
I'm trying to think of worst jobs in the world, and it's probably being a police person in the world of GTA Online. You're going to be busy.
Yeah, and people are going to probably try and throw a lot of grenades at you as you try and stop things.
It's going to be very limited respect for the law.
Yeah.
This is just a really fun thing. It's all about mechanic balancing. The challenge with all of RP is, how do Rockstar make this palatable for a mainstream audience, or do they even attempt to? Because it's super niche stuff, I think, or potentially super niche stuff. But do they try and create a baby ramp into it to go, this you can understand? Then the hardcore stuff is there, but here's the nice, easy on ramp.
Yeah. I mean, as we discussed, the baby ramp is get Lucia to do it in the game. Give people a taste of doing some of these things as part of the single player. And when you go into online, the option is there to go, how much fun you had doing that paper route? Well,
remember when you donned those clothes? Would you like to do that non-stop and forever in GTA Online, when the alternative is riding stunt bikes off a cliff?
Yeah. Does your GTA Online persona want to work in the gas station, filling up people's cars for them to exactly the £50
farming
mark?
aura from hitting the pure decimals off every refill?
Hey, we'll see how much of this becomes a reality, but I think there's something in there. I think some of this might come to fruition when the game releases, but let's see. A couple of other smaller slices of cake now, cupcakes if you like, Dan. First up, again, something I think you were looking at last week, and something we talked about at the top of the show, is Google's new Gemini 3 AI. Now, this has been used to give us a sort of look at GTA 6, but Rockstar have immediately shut all of this down. So maybe you can fill in the gaps here about what people were doing with GTA 6 screenshots.
Yeah, it feels like ancient history, but it was only 4 days ago as we record this. Big blow up on social media on Friday. Google have given access to a tool called Genie 3 to their premium tier Gemini users. So you're having to pay quite a lot of money to get access to this. What it essentially allows you to do is like, instead of a text to image AI, it's almost a text to interactive world simulator. So you could type in, I want to play as this character in this game world set in this thing, go. And then it does create this sort of, I'm gonna garble this and get this wrong, but it's essentially, it's not like a real engine world in the way we know it. It's almost like a predictive simulated reality where the AI is second guessing what you're going to see and how you want to interact with it. It's a different thing to traditional game development. That's all I know. I'm not going to fool myself by going too deep into it. But long story short, so people started to use it for really interesting things. One of them I wrote about on Friday that I think even by the time I discovered it and then published the newsletter had been taken down. Somebody took from the official GTA website, when you scroll the website and there's those really nice interactive frames.
Yeah.
There's one where you see Jason sort of peel away against the neon backdrop. What someone had done is use that as the keyframe to start with, and then use the Genie 3 tool to show him continuing his motion. And then going from that static that we know is official into like exploring the immediate world and environment. And like the transition is fabulous. Looks like you might expect it to look. When he starts moving around, you see the limitations and the collision isn't correct and there's some weird things. And if you watch a number of these videos, you see that it's like, it's not really actually there. So like there's knockoffs of like Elden Ring doing the rounds where the character walks off a bridge and then when he respawns in an area that like previously didn't exist and the old area's gone.
Yeah, because it's forgotten.
It's forgotten it.
Yeah.
So there's some weird stuff going on, and there's some interesting demos with characters looking in mirrors, and this is like high level internet conspiracy stuff, but like what the reflection you get back isn't what your character should be doing, and it's this weird quasi reality of like sometimes it's right, sometimes it isn't. It all breaks down basically. But yeah, Rockstar, as I talked about at the top of the show, the actual real world impact of this was Take-Two, their share price dropped by 12% in one day, which is the biggest drop since they said GTA 6 is going to be delayed. Or since Jason Schreier didn't say it was going to be delayed. And that was like a 4 to 6% drop, right? This is double that drop. It's huge. And I guess Rockstar, like it's their IP, their imagery, they had to shut a load of that stuff down. So they came out and shut down the leak I started at the top of that description by saying you're not going to watch Jason walk around in neon anymore.
Yeah, it's at best an interesting piece of tech, and you can also just upload images to it and be like, make this into a game world, please, and then type in your character description and go, I want to play as a dog, and then it will generate a dog, and then it generates the whole thing, and you just use WASD to walk around. It is pretty limited, like you say. I think it did give a reasonable glimpse into what that street that Jason is standing on might look like in a very lo-fi, like AI predicted way that we haven't seen before. But I can see why you'd immediately want to shut that down if you were working on the game, because you're like, first of all, it's our imagery and our IP, and second of all, it's not representing what the game is actually going to look like at all, and we don't want to give people an impression of like what we don't want them to go, oh, it's going to look like that, when it's actually going to look much better.
And it's close enough though to pass and be confusing for someone who isn't really on top of this stuff, and that's damaging. It's damaging to their shit, to their brand, to their value, to their share price. There's some interesting commentary around this from lots of people who actually know what they're talking about. Talked about the role of Genie 3 in game development. This is slightly a sidebar, but one of them was from Tim Sweeney from Epic, who was talking about, I guess, two different things. One is that like it's very naive to completely dismiss this technology. It's like it's sensational, but it isn't making video games in the way we currently make them. His thesis was either some form of it would be synthesized in traditional game development, or it would almost become an annex path where it might be almost like the equivalent of a TikTok, but for stupid games you create yourself, where it's not directly competing with authored experiences like GTA, but it might be something where you log on and you go, I'm in a waiting room, I've got 10 minutes, I'm just going to ask this app to generate, I'm in a waiting room, but I've got a machine gun. That's a terrible, whatever, right? But like you could do things like that and you accept that it's just going to be a slightly cruddy game, but it's a way to distract you for 10 minutes. But it's not a traditional video game. It's almost like an interactive alternative to doom scrolling.
Yeah,
I guess.
which is basically what these things are. Because you only get 60 seconds to go around the world. And as you say, that world, if you go too far one way, changes, because if you turn around and go back, it's forgotten what it generated 50 frames ago. So it's not very powerful like that. And I think from reading a little bit of stuff, which I assume is true, is that the model is based on, like, it's learnt from video games.
Yeah.
So they fed it a load of video games and said, use this as your base. And then when people type things in, basically just put a wrapper over what you think might be happening next. So it's not really it doesn't have any mechanics in it. You can walk left, right, forwards and backwards and jump sometimes, but you can't, there's no actual tech behind it. Like, you can't put inventory systems in it or ammo, or like at the moment you can't do any of that stuff.
No, and it's working in an opposite way actually to the direction of all of games development to this point, where the golden version of GTA 6 is that the world is like super persistent and consistent, like we've talked about. So like, imagine if when you blew a building up, it stayed blown up, or you could, your actions have permanent effects on the characters you interact with. So like life, right? It's more like life, where this is a world where everyone and even the world is acting like the main character from Memento, where every 60 seconds everything is forgotten and you start again in the current situation.
Yeah.
So it's just not comparable at all.
And, I mean, it's using an incredibly huge amount of processing power as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable the things that it has to do, because it's generating a frame by frame perception of what it thinks you want to see. So it's not like it's built that world and then you can move around it and then it's deleting it. It's constantly thinking about what you might press next, like what it perceives you're going to like turn the camera one way or the other. Like, it's
computationally, it's vast.
It's and one of the things that's probably destroying the planet. So
So yeah, look,
it's great.
Yeah, like there's so much more. We could do an entire show about this with much smarter people than us. What I look, the thing that a few people said, including me on social media, was these videos I don't think have any material impact on Take-Two's immediate financial future. I'd come out and basically said, this is not investing advice, but buy the dip, because it's totally irrational to think that Take-Two's business thesis has changed because of these videos. Do I think that GTA 6 is going to be any less successful or more successful because of these videos? Is irrelevant. Do I think that people are going to say abandon the idea of playing games like GTA 6 because they can generate 60-second stupid videos? No. But over a longer horizon, this technology and AI technology is going to find a way to fundamentally change games development. But then I would argue, this may be terrible, it makes potentially the hand of people like Take-Two stronger, because bluntly, they probably need less people to make amazing games. And then as an investment case, they're making even more money than ever, in theory.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the share price should have gone up.
Well, possibly.
But in fact, it hasn't.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly. It hasn't. It's gone back to where it was again. Yeah. Like all of these things. People panic, goes back again. It's not an investment show. It's not an AI speculative show.
No.
But it just shows the impact of GTA and how it crosses across worlds.
Good. Okay. Well, then that's that ticked off, and I'm sure we got every one of those facts 100% correct. Let's talk about now Rockstar's creator team. Now, if you go onto the Rockstar Games website right now, and I checked this yesterday as we're recording this, and look at the jobs section, under the community part of the jobs, you can find a role for an associate director of creator strategy, which looks like it's indicating that Rockstar are setting up a creator team. Now, what does this role actually do? Well, helpfully, they wrote it all down and it says it. The Rockstar Games creator team grow and engage creators and the broader player community. We craft public-facing messaging for distribution across all social media platforms, including the Rockstar Newswire. We collate community feedback and activity, creating and delivering sentiment analysis to key internal teams and collaborators. And if you were going to get this job, your responsibilities would be to lead organic and paid creator efforts across all Rockstar Games products, develop documentation, and implement strategic plans aimed at promoting and growing the Rockstar Games creator community, serve as a point of contact for creators, and constantly be on the lookout for ways to nurture, engage, and grow our creator community. So, if you do apply for that job, please reach out to us, because we are part of the community and we would love to talk about how all of those things work. Thank you very much. But I guess the broader point comes back to, why do we think Rockstar might need a creator team or an expanded version of this team that they might not have needed for when they were working on GTA 5? And I feel like it probably ties into a lot of the things we've already talked about. If you are expanding your online capabilities to include more RP stuff, more curators doing different things, you're going to need a team that's monitoring that and wanting to engage with those people and find a way to promote those people and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you've got any other thoughts other than, please get in touch, Rockstar.
I mean, yeah, please get in touch, Rockstar. I think this is a difficult thing, because part of this crosses over with our reality even beyond this show and the history we have with working with Rockstar Games and their internal structures. I think it's safe to say that they've changed their internal structures. They've changed the way they plan to interface with the world, with the media, with creators. Even going back 5, 6, 7 years ago, they started to change their recruitment or their internal responsibilities from being pure PR that engaged the specialist press to having people whose job it was dedicated to work with creators. But whether they fell under the classic PR umbrella, I don't know. Right? Maybe they just classified it internally in the org chart a different way. Guess what this indicates is, structurally, they're changing their approach to. It's not even it's part of marketing and PR, but it's being led by creator side, strategy side, rather than what would have possibly previously fallen under like more of a classic marketing and PR role. And maybe this person does ladder up to the marketing and PR role. But I think the composition of those internal teams have changed. So it's the clear thing, like you say, is that like creators and the online community are utterly integral to GTA right now, possibly even more so as they move into the future with GTA 6 Online, the role playing. There's so much scope probably internally for them to provide the ballast or support framework for people who want to be part of that community. Fascinating job. You probably want someone who's like on the pulse with knowing creators, but also is a non-idiot who can create plans, structure, timelines, KPIs, all that boring stuff that I won't talk to people about on this show.
Yeah, because it's got to tie into like not just the launch of GTA Online. I'm sure there's going to be some GTA 5 online stuff in here as well, because even the things they do at the moment, like Independence Day, the Independence Day Festival, the Valentine's Day stuff, the things that are like your staples that you know are going to happen every year in your online community, like it's going to be the management of that and talking to people who are currently playing the game and saying, hey, we've got the Valentine's Day thing coming up. Here's the stuff that it's going to include. Would you like to, be a part of it? Maybe there's some kind of reward program for taking part in 3 or 4 of them throughout the year. As you say, like traditionally, that might just have been an email. There's obviously more stuff going on behind the scenes as well, but from a specialist or mainstream press type of thing, it's, Rockstar are doing another Valentine's Day special. Some stuff is cheap. But on the creator side, it's actually, there's all these new events. There's X, Y, and Z. If you take part in this one, you might be able to then be eligible for this other thing. all of that takes quite a lot of management. I don't anticipate for a moment that this is one person in this team.
Yeah.
I think this, what do they call it? Associate Director of Creator Strategy is going to probably have some people below that are helping them, communicate and do all of this stuff. Those roles aren't live yet, or maybe they've been live.
And probably above, because associate, again, this is a bit of a generalization. US, UK, European language around job roles varies dramatically, where it always felt like, when I worked on UK games magazines, you started life as a staff writer and you were made to feel like you are on the junior rung. But when we worked with the American brands, you started the job as an editor, which was actually the top of the UK tree. And then you get to that weird thing of everyone's a vice president, or an associate vice president. And where does this begin? Like, what's the top layer? Galactic overlord of strategy, or I'm being facetious, but like there's something in that. And I think this role actually sounds a bit more like not the bottom of the chain, but a bit more midweight or connective to the top of the chain.
Yeah, I'd put it like midweight. I think it says on the website as well that it's New York based, so you'd be in Rockstar NYC. And I feel like, I might get this wrong, so please correct me in the comments, the salary was like up to around 150k
sounds
US
right.
dollars.
Which
you tell me, New York residents, what you could buy on a salary of 150k for living in New York City, but
not as much as it sounds to someone in the UK. I did see, I think the last time there was a Rockstar role being discussed on social media, and maybe this is my platform of choice, which is quite full of tech bros. We've got these, and people, flex, right? Everyone pretends they're earning $1 million a minute. There are people going, no wonder things are so bad at Rockstar with them paying chump wages like 200k a year. And I was like, that sounds pretty good, actually. And they wouldn't put it at that rate if they didn't think they get people of equivalent, experience at that way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take a British person to tell an American person in New York how expensive New York is.
No, I think they know. The base pay range, just for reference, 111 to 160,000 USD. It does say that the total compensation package may also include other elements, including bonus, equity awards, full range of medical, financial, and other benefits. So there's like a lot more than the base salary package going on there. So there's a lot of stuff. But hey, anyone in New York who wants to move to New York and apply for that role, keep GTA 6 o'clock on the radar. We'll be part of your creator community. Thank you very much. All that being said, Dan, think about wraps up episode 109. Have I got that right? Yes, 109 of GTA 6 o'clock. Thank you all for listening. Please keep your comments coming in. There was lots of nice ones from last week, talking to everyone saying like how much the show has kept them going in the news drought. Apologies that you could probably only see about half of me for last week's episode. Hopefully, we've got the framing right this time. Only 109 episodes in, and we've finally done it. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating. You can get in touch with us on Twitter at GTAVOclock or via email gtaviclock@gmail.com. And on Friday, there will be another edition of the newsletter, wrapping up some of the things that we've talked about this week, and I'm sure some of the news from the investor call that is happening, has happened yesterday as you are listening to this.
Yes, it's going to be very investor call centric, I think,
because of all of those bombshells that are going to be dropped.
Speaking on behalf of the entire video game industry, says noted video game analyst and talking nignog Dan Dawkins.
Yeah, clip that out. There we go.
Yeah.
It's all happening this week. Thank you once again for listening. Please leave your comments below, and we'll be back next week for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.